We welcome you into Pamplin Sports Center on the campus of Lewis and Clark College in Portland, Oregon. It's time for a Northwest Conference basketball doubleheader as today the Lewis and Clark River Otters welcome in the Whitman Blues. Thanks for being with us along with our Pio Stream crew. I am Ryan Goff, courtside from Portland, where Lewis and Clark gets back into the conference schedule after completing its non-conference schedule on Tuesday. Lewis and Clark defeating Northwest Indian College in the final non-Northwest Conference matchup that they had on the calendar. Lewis and Clark an 87-50 victory, and that snapped a three-game losing streak in the beginning stages of Northwest Conference play. Lewis and Clark has put up a 1-3 record, getting that win over Northwest Indian 78-56, and snapping a two-game losing skid. Lewis and Clark had defeated Pacific Lutheran 72-62 to get their first victory in the opening weekend of conference play for the Otts. And then Lewis and Clark turned around, lost on this floor 77-50, and then had a very close game against the Pacific Boxers in Forest Grove last Saturday. So the only downside that you can really imagine for Lewis and Clark having played a game on Tuesday is they have an extra game in this week, whereas that's not usually the case during the conference schedule. Granted, Lewis and Clark also rotated a ton of personnel in that game as they won it 78-56. For this Whitman team, Blues have constantly been a contender in the Northwest Conference, 3-1 so far through 4 games and an 8-5 record overall. 4-3 on the road, but their loss last weekend at Linfield snapped a 3-game winning streak, and that also means that you have back-to-back trips to the Willamette Valley from Eastern Washington, so a longer road trip that you complete, as it was last Friday, beg your pardon, so just a week ago, but you still have to go home after a singular trip out here and then take on Lewis and Clark and George Fox coming up today and tomorrow. So there's a lot of wear in terms of travel for Whitman. Granted, they've been off since last Friday. Lewis and Clark has played 2 additional games since then. Looking at the season stats so far this season, Lewis and Clark comes in with the second best offense in the conference, but they're taking on the second best defense. Whitman allows just 53 per game, and they come in first in three-point defense. Lewis and Clark shoots a ton of three-pointers. In fact, leads the conference in three-point attempts per game, trying to get 24 up per contest. That's a whole lot for Lewis and Clark. We'll see what happens in this matchup that they're about to take on with the Whitman Blues. Player to watch on the Whitman side out of New Zealand, 11.2 points per game so far for Holly Morgan, the junior at 5'9", scored 12 points against Linfield after a couple of single-digit outings, but pretty good from outside at 35% from three-point range, and is good for about 3 assists per game. On the Lewis and Clark side, you have to go back to your Northwest Conference Player of the Year candidate, Lauren Fredrickson, tied for Lewis and Clark's outstanding start from the free throw line. I guess virtually tied, you would think, because Caitlin Carnes and Fredrickson are 1-2 in the conference in free throw percentage, but 95% is what Fredrickson is shooting at the line. Has just missed 2 of them so far this year, whereas Caitlin Carnes is 86%. It's fantastic, but Fredrickson is by far and away the number 1 free throw shooter in the conference, and is also number 2 in rebounds at 8.5 per game. We'll take a break, hear about the Lewis and Clark Alumni Marketplace, and then get you set for the opening tip and more. We'll take a quick timeout. It's Whitman and Lewis and Clark next on Pio Stream. Today's broadcast on Pio Stream is brought to you by the Lewis and Clark Alumni Marketplace. Go to lcpioneers.com/marketplace and search for products and services offered by Lewis and Clark alumni, including Gardenia Creative, which has chosen to spotlight a nonprofit friend of theirs, With Love. Based in Oregon, With Love has the mission to help foster families change the lives of children ages 0 to 6 by providing resources that nurture dignity, hope, and community. Many times, foster parents find out they are receiving a child mere hours before bringing them home. With Love provides safe, clean, quality clothing and supplies so foster parents can focus on loving their little one. You can help through financial gifts, volunteering, or donating items at withloveoregon.org. Thanks again to alumnus Laurel Carroll
and Gardenia Creative for spotlighting this nonprofit partner.
It's Lewis and Clark and Whitman getting set for the opening tip in just a little bit. Other games in the Northwest Conference, there's some good ones on the docket, and this has been an interesting season so far with just 4 or 5 games completed for these teams. Lewis and Clark getting set to take on this Whitman squad and a whole bunch of home games for the River Otters over the course of the first half of 2026. Whitworth is at George Fox tonight. You have Pacific at Pacific Lutheran, and Linfield taking on Puget Sound. Women's basketball standings so far this year, Linfield and Puget Sound atop the conference at 4-0 records. Whitman is tied with George Fox at 3-1, and the Pacific sits 2-2 atop the 5 highest spots in the standings. Willamette 2-4, Lewis and Clark 1-3, and then 0-4 mark so far for PLU and the team that Lewis and Clark will see tomorrow, Whitworth. Opening tip next on Pio Stream.
You can have it all. A college that's in the forest and the city. A place that offers inspiring academics on campus and all over the world. An institution that has a graduate school and a law school, so you can make the most of your future.
A place where actions speak just as loudly as words. This place is Lewis and Clark. Plus, our campus is so gorgeous. Campus life is teeming with nature, art, music, and friendship.
You'll work with world-class professors who know you both as a student and as a person. You'll learn analytical and critical thinking skills that will prepare you for whatever comes next.
You'll have a rich life outside the classroom, too. You'll gain new perspectives when you study abroad in unexpected places. Examine ideas through the lenses of inclusion and sustainability. Make friends for life in your classes, clubs, rehearsals, residence halls, and on teams.
Don't forget about that city down the hill. Portland delivers on food, culture, sports, jobs, internships, and networking.
And when you want to explore outside the city limits, the Pacific Northwest delivers on climbing and hiking, oceans, mountains, and deserts. We'll take you to all of them.
It's even prettier in person. This could be your home. Join us at Lewis and Clark.
Wellington, New Zealand, the 5'9" junior guard, number 8, Holly Morgan. From Boise, Idaho, a 5'8" freshman guard, number 10, Morgan Montgomery. From Othello, Washington, a 5'11" junior forward, number 13, Brianna Andrade. From Wakanda, Washington, a 5'10" sophomore guard, number 14, Emma Lena Baker. From Ferndale, Washington, a 5'7" junior guard, number 21, Avery Neal. The Blues are coached by Michelle Ferenz in her 25th season. She's assisted by Marnie Kendallson, Chris Ferenz, Anna Ford, Jolly Martinez, and Sydney Abbott. And now, here's the starters for your Lewis and Clark River Otters. From Oregon City, a 5'4" sophomore guard, number 3, Caitlin Carnes. From Newport Beach, Hawaii, a 5'3" freshman guard, number 10, Haley Perez. From Portland, a 5'6" freshman guard, number 13, Lily Jordan. From Maple Valley, Washington, a 5'10" junior forward, number 32, Lauren Frederickson. And from Puyallup, Washington, a 5'11" junior forward, number 35, Divinity Singleton. Head coach Ann Doris leads the River Otters in her 5th season alongside assistant coaches Casey Dungerley, Felice Johnson, and Omar Kemp. Tonight's officials, Sarah Sowers, Ryan Robinson, and Nia Bravo.
There are the starters for Whitman and Lewis and Clark. We'll give you an audio-style presentation in case you're only able to listen with us. I appreciate you joining us on Flow College. You have gray uniforms for Whitman. They're very dark, maybe even kind of bordering on black uniforms with light blue writing that say Blues across the chest. Lewis and Clark in orange, as they have the broad black stripe with a thinner white stripe on either side. Opening tip is controlled by Whitman. Lewis and Clark has lost the last 15 meetings against the Blues, dating back to 2017, and then the opening pass batted away on the right baseline. Lewis and Clark gets a steal and have to face full court pressure right to left. Black numbers on the orange unis with Carnes, Jordan, and Perez doing the work to bring it up against the pressure in backcourt. Carnes, outstanding sophomore. He's been the team's scoring leader, plays a ton of minutes along with Fredrickson. That duo with these two new first years, and Divinity Singleton, an often starter at the front court position. Present with the left hand, spins down the right edge of the lane and kind of keeps the foot with a little bit of a hop to get the first points for Lewis and Clark. I was concerned Perez was going to travel. Nice extension to the rim to get rid of it. And Lewis and Clark has a 2-0 lead, pressuring in its own right, all the way down to the right block. Montgomery on the sprint, now ball at the top. You have Lena Baker out to the far side left with Andrade. Back to Montgomery. Morgan's on the left wing. The leading scorer, pull up right elbow, missed off the left, just glass. And tie up between Singleton and Andrade for the jump ball. Lewis and Clark has it back. We're just underway in the opening quarter. Lewis and Clark, a 2-0 lead, 8:49 to play in this first of two. Men's game coming up next between these same two programs. Ball knocked out of bounds, stays with Lewis and Clark in front court. Men's game significant in the sense that Lewis and Clark beat Whitman for last year's Northwest Conference Tournament Championship. Their first meeting since. Carnes to the left side hoop. Exchange with Perez, quickly Singleton at top. Gives it away to Freddie. No, fakes it off to Freddie, back to the top, Carnes. Defensive assignment for Carnes is Neal. All the way to the right side, ball stripped on the way up, 7 left on the shot clock for Lewis and Clark underneath its own hoop. So far, Lewis and Clark has limited Whitman to a turnover and a missed field goal. Right side inbounds, gets to Carnes, right wing. Bounce pass to Singleton. Help is there from Morgan. Singleton shoots anyway and scores the runner with the left hand. A nice look from Vin to close off that pass. Now a steal by Jordan. Took it away from Morgan. Races to the left side of the floor. Lobs a shot over Neal. No good. Rebound out to the far side. Montgomery pressured in backcourt, and Jordan given chase. Might have bumped. That's the case. Jordan's first foul and first team foul on Lewis and Clark. .801 to play in the opening quarter. 4-0 lead for Lewis and Clark. Blues on the road this year, 4-3. Lewis and Clark 3-5 at home. Drive left, Morgan. Slid, bouncing it across to the other block. Thrown out. Lena Baker gives it up to Andrade. Misses the runner from the free throw line with the left hand. Fredrickson has the rebound. Carnes to Freddie, left to top. Crossover with the left hand, drives to the rim, right hand, and scores it. Lewis and Clark has made 3 of its first 4 tries from the floor. And at the 7:30 mark of the first quarter, Whitman is trailing, yet to score. Right side, Morgan drops it inside. Lena Baker had it batted away, get it back. Andrade this time is open. And the first points for Whitman happen at 7:12 to play. A little bit of a misbounce inside. Nice feed though, or a nice recovery, better said, for the bucket. Awareness of where that basketball was. Fredrickson in from the right side, dribbles to the right elbow, spins outside, and tosses to Carnes. Same spot from beyond the perimeter. Carnes in a double team, kicks out left. Perez for 3, hit it. 9-2 lead for Lewis and Clark. Big bucket for Perez the first year. Had her most points since a December 7th game against Bushnell, and last Saturday's loss at Pacific. Hit double figures for the first time in forever. Ball nearly stolen away. Out up the top, three. Off to the left, no good. Missed by Neal. Recovered free throw length rebound. Hugged by Fredrickson, and Lewis and Clark's off to a stellar start. 6:20 left in the first, leading by 7. Carnes splits the D, throws up a shot, and a timeout taken by Whitman. Timeout on the floor. 6:13 left to play. This is a media timeout after the 30-second is used by Coach Michelle Ferenz. 25th season, 443 wins. And her team right now is trailing 11-2 on PioStream.
Today's broadcast on PioStream is brought to you by the Lewis and Clark Alumni Marketplace. Go to lcpioneers.com/marketplace and search for products and services offered by Lewis and Clark alumni, including Gardenia Creative, which has chosen to spotlight a nonprofit friend of theirs, With Love. Based in Oregon, With Love has the mission to help foster families change the lives of children ages 0 to 6 by providing resources that nurture dignity, hope, and community. Many times, foster parents find out they are receiving a child mere hours before bringing them home. With Love provides safe, clean, quality clothing and supplies so foster parents can focus on loving their little one. You can help through financial gifts, volunteering, or donating items at withloveoregon.org. Thanks again to alumnus Laurel Carroll and Gardenia Creative for spotlighting this nonprofit partner.
Lewis and Clark with the 11-2 lead. 6:13 left in the first quarter. River Otters hitting 5 of 6 from the floor. They've held the leading scorer, Holly Morgan, for Whitman to no shot attempts. There's been 2 turnovers by the Blues. Andrade out of the near corner misses it long. Montgomery to the ground for the rebound. Baseline official says a foul against the Otts. That one's charged to Perez, first personal, second team foul. Fredrickson's averaging 8.5 for rebounds per game to go with 12.8 points per game. Both team highs. Lena Baker, handoff to Neal, left side to Andrade. Left-handed dribble down to the baseline, tosses out. Back inside, Lena Baker swerves to the rim, missed it. Short arm the layup, rebound pulled down by Fredrickson. Lauren has 3 boards so far and pushes all the way past the free throw line. Jumper back rim, no good. Rebound weak side brought in. Neal pushes across the timeline left to right. Stopped shy, and Lewis and Clark was pressing. Morgan has the ball. A 35% three-point shooter. Passes to Andrade in the corner. Cross it up, Montgomery stops left elbow. Back outside, Neal. Perez the defensive assignment. Lewis and Clark in man-up defense. Jumper, free throw line, pops out for Andrade. Put back though, Lena Baker is there. First, second chance points for either team. And Lewis and Clark gives up a bucket to have the 9-point lead go down to 7. Carnes picked up the dribble, guarded by Morgan. Perez now shoots from the top, gets another. A 10-point lead in the first 5 minutes for Lewis and Clark. Whitman's not a great offensive rebounding team, but got the putback last trip down, going to the right side basket. Jumper, Lena Baker, hangs and drops from the free throw line. Baker 4th in scoring this year at 43%. Morgan trying to trap in a 1-3-1 look. No, it's man up. They just tried to trap the ball handler in the corner. Perez gets 3 in a row. Left wing 3 this time on a kick out. 4:04 to play. Lewis and Clark 17. Whitman 6. How about Perez? Mentioned kind of a slump after that December 7th game, is woken up, and a foul on the right side. Carnes was over there against Lena Baker on a drop off to the baseline. That's the first on Carnes' 3rd team foul on the River Otters. sight for sore eyes. Kayla Guidry is back in the game, playing her first contest since the 20th of December. Played a little bit in the game against Occidental. Lewis and Clark had a single game road trip to Southern California for that matchup, and then Guidry hasn't played since after 13 minutes in that game. Bottom left of the rebound lane with Tatiana Rebenal checking in, one of Lewis and Clark's pair of seniors. Free throw swoops out. Second one no good. 17-7 the lead, Lewis and Clark. After the first one went in, a 10-point lead over Whitman. Attacking the left side basket. Dropped to Guidry and blocked with the left hand. Nice recovery. Lena Baker tracked that down. Only change for Whitman, brought in Jordan Leaf, junior from Edmonds, Washington. Leaf in their game replacing Neal. Ball popped free by Carnes and dove to the ground, got landed on. The ball's free back up the floor. And Morgan landed on top of Carnes. Whistle blew. It's a jump ball. Whitman keeps it with 3:26 remaining in the quarter. Wipe up the sweat right at the top of the key on the right side of the basketball court. Now Key Rusin is in. Had missed some time as the calendar turned to 2026, but was back last weekend. Morgan is out as well. You have Kayla Peters, 5'3" junior out of San Jose, in the game instead. Rusin, 5 points in 18 minutes against Northwest Indian. Had a career best 5 rebounds the first year for Rusin out of Linwood, Washington. Attacking right away out of the inbound. Leaf went straight to the left side of the floor and scores a driving layup. 3 in a row for Whitman after falling behind by 11. Lewis and Clark's lead is 17-9, approaching 3 left in the first. Rusin out left to Fredrickson, denied. Good braid by Andrade. Now Lewis and Clark brings in DJ Kendrick. Kendrick started during Guidry's absence once. Hustle player with 6 rebounds against Pacific last Saturday. High-low feed, trying for Kendrick, can't get it. Now Rebenal throws it in, and Guidry's called for a 3-second call, never vacated on the pass in from the near corner for Rebenal. Lewis and Clark's first turnover of the game. They forced 2. Through the middle of the floor. Veer far side, Peters outside of the top, Montgomery for 3, and Whitman starting to heat up. A 5-0 run for the visitors. Make it a 6-0 stretch. 17-12, Lewis and Clark's lead is 5. Pressure near half court. Ball popped away from Rusin. Whitman goes and traps right across half court. Jordan's in, Perez is out. But 4 for 4 for Haley Perez in that opening 7.5 minutes. Hit 3 for 3 from 3-point. Rusin, the point guard. High screen from Guidry. Rusin finds some space, takes off, had it stripped as she approached Leaf, and touched it on the way back out. Lewis and Clark back-to-back turnovers. Mentioned the 15 straight losses to Whitman. Blues won 69-40 on this floor last year. Montgomery found a spot. Good extra help from Rusin to tap it free. Montgomery tried to throw it back in, went right to Rusin, toss right to Rebenal. On the far wing, throws it to the top. Jordan looks inside. Andrade is guarding Guidry. Pass out to the left. Kendrick tracked it down. Bounce pass and the post. Guidry with the lay-in is good. First points for Kayla since December 20th. And ends a scoreless stretch for the River Otters of about 2 minutes after they went up 17-7. 17-6 rather. Leaf start-stop dribble right baseline. Kicks it out to Andrade. Right wing. Challenges Rusin. Near side corner. Long 2. Good for Leaf. Whitman's made 5 of its last 6. That's after it hit just 1 in the first 5. (19-14) Lewis and Clark's lead is 5. Guidry's out of the game. Fredrickson's back in. Guidry 2 minutes in the return. Has a bucket. Kendrick left side. from the wing across the free throw line. Tried to spin away from it. Kendrick out to Fredrickson for three. And Lewis and Clark has hit all four so far in the opening 9 minutes from beyond the arc. Montgomery crossed the timeline far side. Goes past the wing runner. Past the left elbow is good. Quick, swift attack for Montgomery. Boise, Idaho just went 1 of 9 in the loss at Linfield. Floater, no good from Rebenall, working in for the right wing. Offensive rebound out to Rusin. Tosses to Jordan. Tacks right block, stops on the baseline. Looking for help. Fredrickson flashes to the top. Look left, Rebenall. Not there. Fredrickson drives back to the right. Goes all the way to the rim. Freddie with the take. Taps twice. Doesn't go. Rebound tipped out. And Leaf has it at the free throw line. Quickly across half court. Foot race with 3. Otts misses the layup shallow on the left side. Rebenall has the rebound. 20 seconds left. Lewis and Clark up 6. Tap the head with the right hand. Jordan calls the play with 12. High screen from Fredrickson. Look for the roll. Not there. Over to Rusin. Denied. Jordan picks it up with 5 seconds left. To the right wing, pull up 3 at the buzzer, off to the right, no good, and the rebound claimed by Rebenall as time expires in the first quarter. Credit Whitman, challenged back after falling behind 17-6, but Lewis and Clark with a 6-point first quarter lead as we move to the second. From Pamplin Sports Center, Lewis and Clark College in Portland, Oregon, Lewis and Clark River Otters 22, Whitman Blues 16 on Pio Stream.
Today's broadcast on Pio Stream is brought to you by the Lewis and Clark Alumni Marketplace. Go to lcpioneers.com/marketplace and search for products and services offered by Lewis and Clark alumni, including EV Nails, creating Ina-inspired nail designs online at evnails.com. Founder Lee Howe Willing started EV Nails from a desire to see more of her culture and identity reflected in the beauty industry. EV Nails offers easy-to-use, long-lasting gel nail art and accessory kits that utilize storytelling in design to uplift marginalized voices and increase inclusivity. At EV Nails, we believe in a world where individuals and communities are accepted and loved for who they are, and everyone has a voice and the freedom to express themselves authentically. Go to evnails.com for gel nail strips, bundles, and gift sets that empower people to be their authentic selves and highlight their beauty and uniqueness.
6-point lead for Lewis and Clark, 22-16 to start quarter number 2. Whitman had to burn an early timeout after falling behind 11-2. Lewis and Clark in orange, black numbers on the home floor. Singleton pushed down from the left block, tacks the basket, and Leah Baker might have got a piece of that on the way up. Transition, feed ahead, and an offensive foul not called underneath the basket. Perez picks up a second. Sumi Lavelle's in the game, scores the bucket, heads to the free throw line. And that's Perez's second personal foul. 22-18 with a free throw to go. Lavelle out of College Place, Washington, which is right outside of Walla Walla. Plays about 13, or has played 13 games so far this season, 17 minutes per. It's only good for a couple of points. Gets the bucket there in transition. Out there with Leaf, Montgomery, Leah Baker, and Peters. So there's still no Holly Morgan on the floor starting the second quarter. Jordan tacks left side out to the far corner. Carnes jab steps baseline, goes away from with the left hand, spins in the lane, right block, and scores it. Carnes has hit both of her field goals. Lewis and Clark is 10 of 17 from the floor. Montgomery pushes on Jordan right side. 6 of 10 in that final stretch of 6 minutes for Whitman in the first quarter to close the gap. Skip it, left side almost sold away by Perez. Step out 3, good for Peters. Perez took the gamble, and Whitman gets the bucket. It's a one-possession game, 24-22, between 8-5 Whitman and 4-9 Lewis and Clark. River Otters with the basketball. 1 minute gone in the second. Right to left offensively. Carnes step back 3 around the Singleton screen. No good. Rebound. Singleton called for going over the back. First foul on Vinn, second team foul. 2 of 3 for Montgomery, 5 points, tied for the team high with Leah Baker. (24-22). Baker's on the far side, Montgomery on the near side. Lewis and Clark trying to trap just shy of half court. Montgomery throws it far side to Peters. Prez didn't risk it that time. Closes off the elbow route. Back out Montgomery, guarded by Kendrick at the top midway point of the shot clock. Screen, hard bump, and Fredrickson does enough contact to get the foul. Freddie's first team foul, number 3. So far fouls, Whitman's not been called for 1. Lewis and Clark already 3 fouls in the first minute 40 of the second quarter. Whitman's not been called in the game yet. Carnes guarding on the right side has Montgomery. Crossover Leith around Jordan to the rim. Outstretched left hand on the layup, just backboard. Nothing else. Fredrickson rebounds. Number 5 of the game for Freddie. Outlet to Carnes. Kendrick. Carnes from the top, dribbles left, tucks it, drops it, and there's the first whistle on the Blues. Montgomery was there to help, but Baker's the one who's called for the foul. That sends the conference's second best free throw shooter to the foul line. Neal is back in, replacing Montgomery. So far 10 of Whitman's 22 points from the bench. Carnes hitting 86% so far this season. Lewis and Clark's lost 6 games already by single digits. You go back to last year, you had 5 all of last year. So Lewis and Clark has not too many points separated from being, say, a 6-7 team, even a 7-6 team, instead of 4-9. 1-3 on conference. Whitman, it's 1-3 of 4 to start the conference schedule. Pass left, drive right, and Baker all the way to the rim. 7:42 to left in the second. Toss, Present from the left side, stops at the top, shakes left, drives right, bumps into Leith, who made contact down the lane, wave off the shot, contact before it, and Leith picks up the second foul on the Blues. Perez plays with a pretty high motor, is constantly attacking and just moves at like 1.5 times speed to many other players on the floor. Just has a swiftness about her. Top of the key. Dribble from the wing. Jordan attacks, slides to the ground, and now 3 quick fouls charged to Whitman. The Blues have 2 on Leith, third team foul in the quarter, and that sparks Morgan to hop up, and Leith has to come out. Perez planning to get an undergrad in economics and go through the business and management pre-professional program that Lewis and Clark College offers. So you can come to Lewis and Clark and get a pathway to a career in business. Saying she was so thankful for Coach Ann, Coach Casey. An amazing job of making her feel at home. One of my favorite quotes from a Y Lewis and Clark request. I know they'll take great care of me. Baker into the paint, looking for help. Didn't leave, and a 3-second call. Broke the press quickly, got past the free throw line, and the Baker froze, looking for someone to get the ball to. Turnover number 4 so far from Whitman. Blues have been good this year, plus 2.2 in turnover margin. Right now, -2 against Lewis and Clark. 3 from left of the top. Fredrickson clanks rim, left side rebound on the hop. Baker has it. Whitman with the ball down 28-24, 7 minutes left in the second. Morgan gets some space. Now pestered by Kendrick, throws it to the top. Peters thought about spotting up, uses the Baker screen. Nice jump out by Jordan to switch. Feed in the post. Carnes bumped by Baker. Shot goes in, and the official far side gives Carnes the offensive foul. Baker picks up a second personal, team 4th. Coach Ferenz has the outstretched arms, wearing the navy blue top and gray slacks, looking over at the far side official. Carnes in front court for Lewis and Clark, trying to add to a 4-point margin. 6:30 left, period number 2. Handoff Perez. Started 4 for 4, 3 of 3 from deep. Drives, floater off to the left, no good. Good challenge against Neal. Push up far side. Morgan drops it over the top. Baker, Fredrickson's there, leaning in. Double team, kick right. Jumper, back rim, no good. Lavelle missed. And rebound picked up by Kendrick. Starts the push. DJ flowing down to the left side, blocking foul. And Kendrick heads to the foul line in the transition rush. Peters picks up a first personal, team 5th. So streaky fouls so far between the two teams. Lewis and Clark picked up the first 3 in the period. Now Whitman's had 5 in a row. Kendrick's free throw goes in, 5 of 5 for Lewis and Clark. Linfield trying to bounce back after losing at Linfield. Second straight trip into the Oregon Willamette Valley. Free throws make it 29-24. Lewis and Clark's lead is 5. 6 even left, second quarter. Baker, high post right elbow. Turns, faces the basket. Hand off to Morgan. Kendrick drops it on the switch down to the passer. And lost the handle. Baker underneath. Morgan threw it. Kendrick had switched to chase Baker down low. I should say pass to the low post was what missed. Baker lost it. Turnover by Whitman. That's the 6th of the game for the Blues. Drop it left side. Guidry's back in the game. Ball free after Baker hit the floor. And a jump ball is forced. Whitman basketball with 5:33 remaining. Rebenal had also checked back in, threw it down to Guidry. Did a great job diving for it after it was deflected away. At least 14 turnovers in each of the last 5 games for Whitman. They also usually force a lot more. Baker, right elbow outside of the key this time. Guarded by Guidry, handoff to Neal. Jordan steps back around the screen and Neal hits the bucket. Long 2 from the right side just inside the wing. 5:05 remaining second quarter. Lewis and Clark 29. Whitman 26. River Otters over the Blues by 3. Kendrick goes left side, throws up a shot. Foul again. Kendrick's been getting the calls, attacking to the left side of the basket, and will shoot free throws when we come back. 4:57 remaining second period. Lewis and Clark has led the entire way so far. It's 29-26 River Otters on Pio Stream.
Today's broadcast on Pio Stream is brought to you by the Lewis and Clark Alumni Marketplace. Go to lcpioneers.com/marketplace and search for products and services offered by Lewis and Clark alumni, including EV Nails, creating Ina-inspired nail designs online at evnails.com. Founder Lee Howe-Willing started EV Nails from a desire to see more of her culture and identity reflected in the beauty industry. EV Nails offers easy-to-use, long-lasting gel nail art and accessory kits that utilize storytelling in design to uplift marginalized voices and increase inclusivity. At EV Nails, we believe in a world where individuals and communities are accepted and loved for who they are, and everyone has a voice and the freedom to express themselves authentically. Go to evnails.com for gel nail strips, bundles, and gift sets that empower people to be their authentic selves and highlight their beauty and uniqueness.
Whitman has hit 5. Make that 4 of its first 7 shots in the second quarter. Lewis and Clark just 1 of 5. And Whitman has closed the gap. That was once 11 points midway through the first quarter to just 3. The midway point of the second, 29-26. Lewis and Clark's lead is 3. DJ Kendrick at the stripe. Kendrick's 1 for 2 so far. Makes that one. I reference Kendrick as a hustle player, and oftentimes my interpretation of using that kind of adjective is the fact that there's always kind of a gap in a basketball game to fill, and DJ seems to know how to do it. Has 2 assists already in this game, 1 rebound, and now 3 free throws. That second one went in. She clasped her hands together when she got the roll. Back in Andrade, kicks it far side. Morgan has still yet to shoot, finally pulls up from the left elbow and misses it. Outlet pass, though, too strong from Guidry, looking for Jordan. Guidry, Kendrick, Jordan, Carnes, and Perez in orange for Lewis and Clark. Neal, Peters, Andrade, Baker, and Morgan in the dark gray for Whitman. Peters has come in, hit a three-pointer, the only reserve on the floor right now for the visitors from Walla Walla, Washington. Kick it right. Peters uses the screen to her left, stops inside the key, backs out. No one goes out with her. Takes the 3, skids off, no good. Guidry weak side board for Lewis and Clark. Guidry's got 2 rebounds. Frederickson leading the game with 5-4 from Baker. 31-26, Lewis and Clark with the ball and the lead. Drop it down to Guidry, left block. In a double team, Morgan's reaching in. And another timeout hollered for by Coach Doris. Trying to preserve the possession. Lewis and Clark keeps it on the arrow. Sarah Sowers asking Ann Doris, do you want that timeout still? She says no. Backs up to the right side of half court. Lewis and Clark's bench away from the offensive goal. Morgan able to tap it away from Kendrick. Gets a tap back from Baker, and a foul is called. Morgan. Layup is good. Count the buckets. Kendrick whistled for the first of the game. 4th team foul on the River Otters. And Frederickson checks back in for Kendrick. Late sub Perez was out after the timeout, rushes back in. Replacing Jordan. Lewis and Clark hit 5 of its first 6 field goals, but since has made just 5 of the next 14. Rebound Perez off the miss. Hard fought too, and Carnes has bumped, drawing Morgan into that. Morgan picks up a foul, and it's after Whitman's already reached 5 as a team. So Lewis and Clark, the best free throw shooting team in the conference, has 2 free throws for every foul the rest of the period against Whitman. Lewis and Clark is top 12 in the nation in made free throws, and among the top 40 in both attempts and percentage. Lewis and Clark hit 74% as a team. Second one goes in for Carnes. 2-possession game, 32-28. Lewis and Clark full court pressure. Left to right. Whitman offensively. Carnes and Perez trap Neal, force a turnover. 6th giveaway by Whitman. Lewis and Clark, 3rd steal. Frederickson attacks right, high off the glass, miss. Guidry has the ball, tries to go back up. Loose. Baker had ripped it away and chased it down to the left side of the key. Now Peters in trouble, shy half court, muscles it ahead. Morgan, crossover, bounce pass right to Baker, baseline jumper. Too strong, rebound tipped out to Baker. Now Peters for 3, got it. 3rd three-pointer made from Whitman. Lewis and Clark hit 4 of its first 5, but 0 for 2 in this period. It's a 1-point game, 32-31. Carnes and Lewis and Clark up 1 with 3:05 to play until half. Guidry, top of the key, throws left. Rebanal dug it out low, hit the side of the backboard for a 3 from the near corner, no good. Neal the rebound. Far side to Morgan. Whitman has the ball, first chance to take the lead. Since the game opened up, Guidry called for a foul as Morgan turned into Guidry near the left elbow. First on Kayla, and both teams with 5 now in the period. Lewis and Clark has missed 9 of its last 10 shots. Baker exits, Montgomery's back in for the Blues. Guidry takes a seat, Singleton is in. Free throw by Morgan, good. .83% foul shooter, averaging 11.2 per game. hits the second one as well. And it's a 33-32 lead for Whitman. 2:46 to play, second quarter, and Morgan comes off the floor. Was stuck in single digits until the Linfield game last Friday. Drop it in the post, Singleton. Back left, Perez guarded closely by Peters. Had the ball pop free on the either crossover dribble or behind the back dribble. I think it's the former. Either way, lost it. Lewis and Clark turnover number 7. Whitman with a 1-point lead. 2:22 to play. Andrade back out to the right side. Now at the top of the key, Peters. Screen set from Andrade. Peters goes right instead. Double team by Singleton and Perez. Throws out to the top. Andrade, long two, no good. Fredrickson, tip rebound over to Rebenal. Could be the 6th rebound for Freddie, depending on how they rule. Did she intentionally tip it out to Tatiana? Carnes goes left, bump on the way. Leith playing with 2 fouls. Pressure on the left block. And a whistle, and the baseline, or rather sideline official gives Lewis and Clark a timeout to preserve the possessions. The first taken by Lewis and Clark with 1:47 left in the second quarter. Whitman has fought back from a 17-6 deficit midway through the first to lead 33-32 over the River Otters. Second long scoreless streak for the Otts. They've been without points for about 2 minutes right now. Whitman in the middle of a 7-1 run over the last 3 minutes or so. So pretty impressive comeback for the Blues, trying to improve to 4-1 in conference play and get a 16th straight win over Lewis and Clark. The then Pioneers won 6 games from 2010 to 2012, and then this series started to shift over to Whitman. Blues won every matchup since January of 2017. Inbound play, Lewis and Clark attacking the right, or rather left side hoop the rest of the first half. Drive, Carnes tosses across the key left to Singleton. One dribble and a score. Lewis and Clark claims the lead again, 34-33. Montgomery, the point guard, Andrade and Lavelle at the high post spots. Lavelle comes out to get it, throws right. Leith has an alley, pull-up jumper, no good. No one put a body on Leith, offensive rebound. Out to Peters, left of the top. Her 3, skips off, no good. Fredrickson hugs the rebound, that's her 6th. Carnes, one arms it left to Jordan. Head fake, drives in on Lavelle, lost the handle as she's bumped shy of the paint. And the foul is called on Lavelle. That's the first personal foul on Lavelle. 2 more free throws for the River Otters, who've hit 8 of 10 so far in the opening 19 minutes. Like I was saying, though, there hasn't been a ton of close games. That very next game after Lewis and Clark won in 2017 was a 2-point margin. Lewis and Clark has only been close a few times since then. 61-48 in 2022, maybe the closest. Free throws make it 35-33. Lewis and Clark on top with 1:05 remaining. Front court, Peters. Double high screen, throws far side. Drop it in. Leith looking into the post, batted away by Carnes. Working in the post against Andrade. Carnes 5'4", Andrade 5'11". Inbound underneath the hoop, left side. We're under a minute to play in the second. Whitman with the ball, down 35-33. Leith throws it. Singleton can't bat it. Peters has it on the top. Looking inside, nothing there. Across the top, Lavelle gets it back to Peters. 10 seconds to shoot for Whitman. Around the horn, far side. Van Carnes called for a bump on Montgomery with 4 left to shoot. And Carnes picks up a second personal foul. 41 seconds remaining. Lewis and Clark with a 2-point lead, and Carnes comes out, replaced by Rusin for the final 41 seconds. Impressive start to Carnes' Lewis and Clark student-athlete career. Played at Oregon City, Oregon, a very well-known high school basketball program in the state of Oregon, undeclared. Went for 23 in her freshman year back against PLU for a career best. Second free throw, no good. Rusin in the front court. Lewis and Clark has 24 seconds on the shot clock to work. Left side, Jordan out of the corner. Toward the left elbow, backs out to the top, tosses past Perez over to Fredrickson. 2 dribbles, pull up, front rim, no good. Rebound picked up. Lavelle has it. Long pass ahead, Andrade. Jordan giving chase. Andrade kept it on the hip. Let Jordan go past. Gets the conversion. Lead of 1 by Whitman. 10 seconds left. Rusin off the left wing screen. Attacks, had the ball pop free. Right baseline with 1.7. It stays with the Aughts. Lewis and Clark's 7th turnover, now -1 in margin. Lob it. Fredrickson fouled on the shot. Stepping back. Whitman's picked up a bunch of fouls in the second quarter after having no fouls in the first 3 minutes or so of the period. That's going to be the 9th foul on the Blues. The officials likely have to get together, take a look at the monitor. They're going to look at the monitor and get the time with a 36-35 lead for Whitman on top of Lewis and Clark. The 3rd lead change in the last 2.5 minutes after the River Otters led 17-6 with 4:04 to play. Whitman just 1 game back of Linfield and Puget Sound for the Northwest Conference lead. Both Linfield and Puget Sound 4-0 so far. George Fox also 3-1. Lewis and Clark has seen Fox already, losing last Friday 77-50. River Otters will be at Willamette, then home against Linfield next weekend. Puget Sound beat the River Otters 61-54 2 Fridays ago to open up the conference schedule for Lewis and Clark. Whitman has already beat Whitworth on the 6th of January. That was the Tuesday game with their travel partner from Eastern Washington. And then, like I mentioned, traveled to Oregon's Willamette Valley a week ago, played at Linfield, lost 61-52 to the Wildcats. And it was the mid-quarters that really doomed Whitman. Outscored in the second and the third, 28-10 in that game against the Wildcats. Officials determined 0.8 seconds on the clock. Lauren Fredrickson to the foul line. First free throws of this game for Freddie. First one's good. Ties the game up at 36 apiece. That one's out, and the game is tied at halftime. Just the 3rd miss from the line all year from Lauren Fredrickson. Lewis and Clark and Whitman tied at 36 apiece at halftime. We invite you to stick around. We'll take a break, come back with a look at halftime stats, what else is going on in Lewis and Clark athletics and around the Northwest Conference. And our halftime report comes your way shortly. End of the first half, Northwest Conference women's basketball from Pamplin Sports Center in Portland, Oregon. Lewis and Clark River Otters 36, Whitman Blues 36 on Pio Stream.
Today's broadcast on Pio Stream is brought to you by the Lewis and Clark Alumni Marketplace. Go to lcpioneers.com/marketplace and search for products and services offered by Lewis and Clark alumni, including Mind on Fire Institute, embracing the liberal arts goal of creating lifelong learners. Mind on Fire Institute is an educational program that returns you to the humanities and deepens knowledge with like-minded learners through a variety of sessions each week, from ancient Greek philosophy to modern French naturalism. Find the right session for you at mindonfireinstitute.com. Now offering weekly introductory sessions, Mind on Fire Institute uses a unique approach of open exploration with small groups. Challenge your intellect without the homework. No prep, no pressure. Casual and engaging sessions with a curated selection of aphorisms. Sign up for the Mind on Fire Institute newsletter at mindonfireinstitute.com. Today's broadcast on PIO Stream is brought to you by the Lewis and Clark Alumni Marketplace. Go to lcpioneers.com/marketplace and search for products and services offered by Lewis and Clark alumni, including Pacific Pines Golf and Social Club, the premier private indoor golf experience, offering 24/7 access to state-of-the-art simulators for golf enthusiasts of all levels at pacificpinesgolf.com. Whether you're looking to sharpen your game, compete in leagues, or just enjoy a round with friends, Pacific Pines Golf and Social Club provides a realistic, high-tech golf environment and a welcoming social setting just 20 minutes from Lewis and Clark College. With exclusive membership access, unlimited bookings, and a vibrant golf community, Pacific Pines Golf and Social Club brings the best of the course indoors, rain or shine. Learn more and book a demo at pacificpinesgolf.com. Today's broadcast on PIO Stream is brought to you by the Lewis and Clark Alumni Marketplace. Go to lcpioneers.com/marketplace and search for products and services offered by Lewis and Clark alumni, including Portland Pet Food Company. Katie McCarran started Portland Pet Food Company when her 14-year-old poodle Rosie lost her appetite and her health started to decline. When there wasn't food with ingredients that Katie could trust and that Rosie would eat, Portland Pet Food Company was born. A family and women-owned business, Portland Pet Food Company manufactures human-grade cat meals, and dog treats with ingredients grown and sourced in the U.S. at portlandpetfoodcompany.com. Its mission is to provide pets with the same quality of food that their humans eat with each product containing 11 ingredients or fewer and is free from any additives. Get yours at PortlandPetFoodCompany.com.
Welcome back to Portland. Lewis and Clark and Whitman tied at 36 apiece at halftime of our Northwest Conference women's basketball game. First game of a doubleheader. Men's game scheduled for 7:30 coming up, and a rematch of last year's Northwest Conference Tournament Championship. This game got out to a very quick Lewis and Clark start. River Otters led 11-2. When we look at the first half statistics, everything kind of got going after a quick timeout following Lewis and Clark building a 9-point lead, although the River Otters eventually went up by 11. But Whitman outshoots Lewis and Clark from the floor overall, and they ended up forcing more turnovers than the River Otters were getting from Whitman early in this game. A couple of numbers from that timeout that Whitman head coach Michelle Ferenz took. With 6:10 to play in the first period, Lewis and Clark leading 11-2 at that point. Whitman hit 50% of its field goals the rest of the way, 13-26, with Lewis and Clark just making one of its next three, 6 of 18 overall on average, 1 of 3. And then Lewis and Clark also saw Whitman get 10 of its next 34 points off takeaways, a 14 6-point difference in the paint over the final 16 minutes of the opening half. And then second chance points, 5-0 for Whitman, 6-0 off fast breaks, and 13-5 off the bench, including 6 points from Kayla Peters. He had 6 points also from Morgan Montgomery, 7 from Emma Lena Baker, and 4 from Morgan, all after that 6-minute, 10-second mark in the first quarter. And Haley Perez, who leads Lewis and Clark with 11 points in the half, had no points after the 4:11 mark of the first quarter. So some of those numbers a little bit more contextualized when you look at how Whitman fought back from a deficit of 11 points in the first half. Elsewhere with Lewis and Clark athletics, you have the tennis team down to Costa Rica. They'll head back day after tomorrow. Sounds like it's been a fun trip. You can check out the Lewis and Clark tennis Instagram for more stories from down there. Men's basketball, as I mentioned, coming up next. We'll be on this floor tomorrow too for Whitman, or rather for Whitworth visiting at 3 and 5 o'clock. Swimming back in action a week from today. They'll be going to take on Linfield on the road, and then you have track and field opening up 2 days later at the first of the Portland indoor meets. Other games in the Northwest Conference tonight, I mentioned Linfield is leading the conference with Puget Sound, those two tangling up in Tacoma, and Linfield has a 5-point lead at halftime. Big margin for Pacific over conference winless PLU, 41-18 at halftime. And George Fox, who's 3-1 with a 34-25 lead over 0-4 Whitworth in Newburgh. A lot of home games in the first half of this Lewis and Clark women's basketball schedule after today. Mentioned the games against Whitworth for both the men's and women's team tomorrow. We'll invite you to join us on Flow College. We will have audio-only coverage from the only road trip on your screen. That's to Willamette a week from tonight. And then home games against Linfield, Pacific Lutheran, and that extends even into the final day of January against Puget Sound, and the week after with a home game against Pacific. So you have tonight, tomorrow, and then both doubleheaders, the front ends, I should say, of the following 2 weeks, with one Saturday game here as well. Halftime, 36-36, Lewis and Clark and Whitman tied at 36 apiece. River Otters went 0 for 3 from three-point range in the second quarter. Whitman hit 2 of 4. That was after the Otts were 4 of 5 in the first quarter. Morgan Montgomery, Avery Neal, Emelina Baker, along with Brianna Andrade and Holly Morgan in the gray unis with light blue riding for Whitman. Lewis and Clark in orange. Haley Perez, Lily Jordan, Divinity Singleton, Lauren Fredrickson, and Caitlin Carnes on the home floor. River Otters trying to get to 4 and 5 for their home record with a victory and snap a 15-game losing streak to Whitman. Turnaround hook shot on the right block right off the rip, draws a foul, much to the dismay of Lewis and Clark's bench. First foul charged to Fredrickson, second personal first foul in the quarter. So the first of the third, second of the game for Fredrickson. And the free throw by Baker pops out. Whitman picked up 9 fouls in the later stages of that second quarter. First foul was at 8 minutes left in the second quarter. Whitman had none in the first. Do not relinquish the lead after the game was tied at 36 apiece. Lewis and Clark left to right in the second half. We give you an audio-style broadcast in case you're only able to listen. Bounce pass, right elbow to Singleton. Turns faces against Baker. Left wing kick out to Fredrickson. Across the top to Jordan. Finds a gap, tosses over to the right corner, and it's off of Perez's hands and out of bounds. Just underway in the third. Whitman with a 37-36 lead. It's the largest lead for the Blues, just 1 point. Montgomery, high screen from Andrade. Baker back to the left side, Montgomery. Cross it up, stop left elbow, back to the top. Andrade squares, takes on Fredrickson all the way to the rim. Missed the shot, pushed out. Singleton nudges the rebound toward Freddie. Now Carnes in front court, Lewis and Clark basketball. Fredrickson goes low to the ground, tosses right to Singleton, and a foul is called. Montgomery was right there, absorbed a lot of the basketball as Singleton went up. It had the arm hanging forward. And that's the first foul for Whitman, and Montgomery's first personal as well. Last year in Portland, nearly a 30-point win for Whitman. Christiane Carlisle had 19. Corinne Baker had 18 for Whitman in that matchup. Lauren Fredrickson, the only double-digit scorer for Lewis and Clark, had 12 in the game. Lead swings back to Lewis and Clark, 38-37. 8:44 to play. Both teams have had a version of full court pressure. Whitman breaks Lewis and Clark's pass from the left elbow to the right side. Cutters batted away by Fredrickson. Montgomery looking for Morgan from the left elbow to the right block. Instead, Morgan inbounds underneath. Morgan just 1 of 2 from the floor in the first half, playing 12 minutes. Leading scorer for Whitman coming in this one at 11.2 per game. Nice bounce back for Montgomery. Drives right from the top, kicks outside to Morgan. 3-ball on the way, back rim, no good. Good seal from Perez on Baker. Weak side, rather sealed off Neal. Still got the rebound. Carnes in transition. Back outside to Fredrickson. Tax goes right. Freddie with the touch. Right square. And rolls it through. 3-point lead for Lewis and Clark. Montgomery works past Jordan to the middle of the key. Pull up doesn't go. Rebound tipped out to Singleton. Montgomery had 14, then 21, and at Linfield last Friday had 3 in the last 3 games. Jordan's 3 from the left wing, no good. Carnes has the weak side offensive board. Lewis and Clark reloads. Right side basket trying to add to a 40-37 lead. Jordan to the rack and gets another one. Was a little more of a direct line than Freddie's last trip down. Montgomery leans in on Jordan, fires outside. Morgan right back into Baker, starts inside, spins outside, turnaround jumper doesn't go. Singleton gets the rebound. 0 for 4 start for Whitman to begin the third quarter. 42-37, Lewis and Clark's lead is 5, approaching 7 left in the third. Carnes off the screen. Out top, Jordan, head fake. Challenges Montgomery. Nice recovery. Montgomery pushes back Jordan to the right wing. Really wants to use the right hand. Toss it back to Perez. 7 to shoot. Gets it back. Perez from the top of the key from Freddie. Clanks the back rim and almost attached to it. Rolls off the left. No good. Morgan. Make that Montgomery. Feeds it in. Right block. Andrade to the high post. Baker's jumper. Off to the right. Ricochets left into the corner. Pass out near half court from Andrade. Almost went over and back. 14 to shoot. Into Andrade. Past Fredrickson for the layup. Nice look from Montgomery. The first points for Whitman from the field. At 6:26, that's similar to the first quarter. Far side foul is called. Whistled against Montgomery. Second personal, team second for Whitman. The Blues went 3 minutes in the first quarter without points. Get their first field goal 3.5 minutes into the third. Sumi Lavelle's back in. Played 8 minutes, scored 3 points in the first. DJ Kendrick in for Lewis and Clark. trying to find Singleton left side. Goes back to work out near the corner. Singleton attacks, sidestep to the left, just short on that layup. Carnes took a shot to the face. Weak side as the ball's in front court for Whitman, going right to left, down the left edge of the key, and a good bucket. Montgomery straight to the rim. Lewis and Clark's lead is 42-41. Carnes appears to be okay, has the ball out on top, just inside the arc, looking to the right. Gives it up to Perez, shoots the three, off to left, no good. Carnes with the offensive board. Right baseline, drives, tosses to Singleton, blocked by Morgan, and Lavelle has the rebound for the Blues. Cross half court, working to the left side goal. Bump by Perez out at the free throw line, and Perez has 3 personals. Kayla Guidry comes in the game, so does Tatiana Rebenal to replace Jordan and Singleton. Morgan is out on the Whitman end. Back in is Jordan Leith. Inbound, right side, Andrade got past Kendrick for a bucket. And Whitman has rattled off 6 straight points. Takes the lead for the 3rd time in this game. Pass far corner. Tatiana Rebenal shot blocked by Neal and tied up by Guidry. 5:18 to play. And it's Jordan replacing Perez with 3 fouls. So Lewis and Clark's lineup is Kendrick and Guidry on the blocks. Carnes and Jordan on the elbows. Inbounder is Rebenal. Backdoor cut not there for Carnes. Kendrick bounce pass into the post. And Guidry is called for 3 seconds again. I didn't see how long Guidry was camped out in there. It was blocked off by the official too on that initial entry pass. So it stays 43-42 Whitman. Blues, 3 different leads, yet to lead by more than 1. Leith, far side, head fake. Montgomery, floater right baseline. Offensive foul. Kendrick gets the call. Montgomery has 3 fouls, 3 personal, on the 3rd team foul of the 3rd quarter against Whitman. 7th turnover by the Blues. Five minutes to play in the 3rd. 43-42, Lewis and Clark trailing by 1. Carnes. Toss out to Rebenal, has some space to the right side, past the elbow, over the corner. Jordan step back 3. Got it! Timeout, Lewis and Clark. With the lead, 45-43. Lewis and Clark on top. 4:42 to go in the 3rd quarter. Lewis and Clark uses the timeout, so we'll keep it here for now and tell you about the Lewis and Clark Alumni Marketplace. Special offers waiting for you at lcpioneers.com/marketplace. Go to lcpioneers.com/marketplace and take advantage of special offers from Lewis and Clark alumni-owned businesses, and that includes Pacific Pines Golf and Social Club, the premier private indoor golf experience, offering 24/7 access to state-of-the-art simulators for golf enthusiasts of all levels at pacificpinesgolf.com. With exclusive membership access, unlimited bookings, and a vibrant golf community, Pacific Pines Golf and Social Club brings the best of the course indoors, rain or shine. Visit pacificpinesgolf.com and see all of these special offers. Go to lcpioneers.com/marketplace. Still time to jump in, too, for the rest of the 2025-26 year and into the next academic year as well. You can scan the QR code as well to join us. Lewis and Clark, 3 of 8 for Whitman from the floor. The River Otters, 3 of 9 so far. 3 points off takeaways for the Odds in the second half so far, and the first second chance points for Lewis and Clark as well. Perez gets that bucket that had been eluding her in the second quarter, but right now on the bench with 3 personal fouls. Same for Montgomery, who comes out as well. It's Neal, Leith, Kayla Peters in for the second half. Screen from Andrade, and Lavelle make 5 for Whitman. Lewis and Clark defending the left side basket. Andrade out on the right wing. Light blue numbers on those dark gray jerseys. Peters 2 for 4 from the floor, throws left. Neal attacks around Fredrickson. Nice help from Kendrick. Outside to Andrade, 6 to shoot. Ball stripped by Carnes. Lewis and Clark steal number 4. Carnes pushes through center. Lewis and Clark, black numbers on orange jerseys. Kendrick far side to Rebinal. Runner is Jordan on the baseline. Comes open far corner. Gets the ball past the wing. Through a Kendrick screen. 14 to shoot. Backs it up. Top of the key. Fredrickson looking for the lob. Baseline feed. And it's off of Whitman and out of bounds. And a timeout with 8 seconds left to shoot. 3:51 left in the third. Lewis and Clark has the lead. 45-43 on Pio Stream.
Today's broadcast on Pio Stream is brought to you by the Lewis and Clark Alumni Marketplace. Go to lcpioneers.com/marketplace and search for products and services offered by Lewis and Clark alumni, including Gardenia Creative, which has chosen to spotlight a nonprofit friend of theirs, With Love. Based in Oregon, With Love has the mission to help foster families change the lives of children ages 0 to 6 by providing resources that nurture dignity, hope, and community. Many times, foster parents find out they are receiving a child mere hours before bringing them home. With Love provides safe, clean, quality clothing and supplies so foster parents can focus on loving their little one. You can help through financial gifts, volunteering, or donating items at withloveoregon.org. Thanks again to alumnus Laurel Carroll and Gardenia Creative for spotlighting this nonprofit partner.
River Otters have hit just one of the last 6 field goals they have tried, but Whitman has been scoreless for over 90 seconds. Blues have not led by more than 1 despite leading 3 times. We've had 6 lead changes and 4 ties in this basketball game. (45-43), Lewis and Clark with the lead. 8 to shoot, 3:51 to play in the third. Underneath his own basket, inbound goes far side to Carnes, throws it out top. Rebinal attacks with 2-1, straight to the rim, blocked by Lavelle. Almost flat-footed, nice sturdy block by Lavelle. Whitman has it in front court, pushes far side. Going right to left offensively. Montgomery's off the floor, so is Morgan for the Blues. Neal defended by Carnes. Now Rebinal picks up Peters into Baker. Guarded by Jordan in the left post. Fredrickson helps, kicks it left, long 2. Lavelle is good. Ties the game at 45 apiece. 3:10 to play in the third. Morgan's good for 11.2 points per game as Carnes drives right and draws a foul on Leith, who also now has 3. 4th team foul of the period for the Blues. Andrade, good for 10.6 per game, is tied with Montgomery and Baker with 8 in this contest. And Kendrick tracks down the basketball thrown in. Montgomery scores 10 per game, one of the 3 in double figures on average for Whitman this season. Skip it around the horn, far side to the corner. Fredrickson's 3, no good. Rebound contested, but picked up by Lavelle. Here comes Whitman in front court. Right side pass, Peters got Fredrickson to lunge, sidesteps 3, no good. Rebinal has it bumped away and off of Lavelle and out of bounds. Now Morgan's back in replacing Leith. So Montgomery still off the floor, but Morgan, Peters, Neal, Lavelle, and Andrade for Whitman. Lewis and Clark in the orange unis takes out Kendrick for Singleton. Joins Fredrickson, Rebinal, Carnes, and Jordan. 3 fouls on Peters. On the Lewis and Clark side, Montgomery and Leith have 3 apiece for the Blues. Carnes, top of the key, spots up the 3. Back rim, high rebound. Lavelle has it in front of Singleton. Lost to Linfield last week. Whitman trying to avoid back-to-back losses. Front court pass to Neal, works against Singleton, attacks left, throws out to the far corner, and no one's there. The official on the far side signaled Whitman basketball. Baseline official goes over to consult, and they changed the call. That was just airmailed over everyone. Morgan had single-digit scoring outputs against Pacific, Willamette, and Whitworth prior to scoring 12 against Linfield last week. Revenall attacks in for Lewis and Clark. Bounce pass right side to Singleton. Good head fake, got a defender to jump, but missed the lay-in. Vin is 2 for 6 with 3 rebounds so far. Still stuck at 45, minute 45 left in the third. And Andrade goes left. The officials whistle Singleton for a second personal, third team foul that sends Andrade to the foul line. Whitman 6 of 10 from the floor. At the free throw line in this game. From the free throw line, Lewis and Clark is 12 of 16. Isabella Bernard playing for the first time tonight, 5'7" junior. Out of Nampa, Idaho, replacing Rebenall. Free throw for Andrade is good. Perez has 13 to lead the way for the Otts. Jordan 8. Carnes has 7. Fredrickson's made 2 of 8, 6 points, 8 rebounds. Free throw missed off to the left. Whitman will not go up by more than 1 point, 46-45 after the missed free throw. 7th lead change of the game. Lewis and Clark had an 11-point lead in the game's first 4 minutes. Fredrickson drives, kicks right. Bernard down to the right wing for 3. Jordan off to the left, no good. Singleton, left baseline rebound, trying to pass it out to Freddie. Now Bernard from the top, crosses up, past the elbow. Gets out of the key, tossing back to Carnes. Uses the same path out to Bernard for 3. Got it! How about Izzy Bernard? 48-46 for Isabella. Got so excited that shot we did. I think I recall that Bernard doesn't like Izzy, but I could be completely wrong. Either way, big shot for the transfer junior. Morgan misses halfway down the right side of the lane for Whitman. Lewis and Clark rebound. Fredrickson goes straight ahead, out to the corner. Jordan in with the left hand from there. Ball popped loose, rolls out to Bernard. Bernard guarded by Lavelle. Looks right, no one's there. Now looking for help. Bernard finds Jordan. No, gets it to Fredrickson, and Lewis and Clark used a timeout before it with 9 seconds left on the shot clock. And now Lewis and Clark is down to 1 timeout remaining. And the Otts decide to use their full timeout with 27 seconds left in the third. Where that gets kind of risky is you have a close game. Whitman's not led by more than 1 all night. And now only 1 timeout left for Lewis and Clark at all. This game started out, Lewis and Clark hitting 5 of its first 6, built an 11-2 lead, eventually stretched it to a 17-6 mark. River Otters didn't have a turnover for the game's first 7 minutes, but Whitman had only tallied 2, both teams in single digits in the final minute of the third quarter as it stands right now. Perez opened up with 11 points, hit 3 of 3 from beyond the arc in the first 7 minutes of this game. But Whitman started to turn it on. Went from just 1 of 5 shooting to 6 of 12 late in the first quarter. And then Lewis and Clark opened up the second with a bunch of fouls. Whitman then turned around and had the next 5. Sent Lewis and Clark to the foul line 14 times in the second period. Lewis and Clark has 1 timeout remaining. 9 seconds left to shoot. Far side inbound with 27 seconds left in the third. Trying to add to a 48-46 lead. Carnes, high screen from Singleton. Carnes tried to slide through it. Out to Singleton. And the shot clock expired before Singleton could do something with it. So 18 seconds left for Whitman. River Otters send Kayla Guidry back in. And late substitution for Rebenall to go get Carnes. Guidry played 5.5 minutes in the first game action since December 20th. 2 points, 3 rebounds. Front court pass, Andrade and Whitman. Backdoor cut for Morgan. The official stopped play. Morgan was going to the basket. It might have had a shot. I think it was an inadvertent whistle. Morgan has to inbound underneath instead. Inbound goes left. Peters had the defender fly by, but blocked by Bernard. Jordan to Fredrickson, throws up a shot. lunging out of bounds, fight for the rebound. Neal has it, gets it ahead to Peters, bobbled it, and cannot get a shot off before the end of the third quarter. How about Isabella Bernard? Comes in late in the third quarter, hits a 3 plus a block in the final minutes of the third quarter. End of 3. Pamplin Sports Center, Lewis and Clark College in Portland, Oregon. Northwest Conference Women's Hoops. Lewis and Clark River Otters 48, Whitman Blues 46 on Pio Stream.
Today's broadcast on Pio Stream is brought to you by the Lewis and Clark Alumni Marketplace. Go to lcpioneers.com/marketplace and search for products and services offered by Lewis and Clark alumni, including EV Nails, creating Ina-inspired nail designs online at evnails.com. Founder Lee Howe Willing started EV Nails from a desire to see more of her culture and identity reflected in the beauty industry. EV Nails offers easy-to-use, long-lasting gel nail art and accessory kits that utilize storytelling in design to uplift marginalized voices and increase inclusivity. At EV Nails, we believe in a world where individuals and communities are accepted and loved for who they are, and everyone has a voice and the freedom to express themselves authentically. Go to evnails.com for gel nail strips, bundles, and gift sets that empower people to be their authentic selves and highlight their beauty and uniqueness.
Started quarter number 4, Lewis and Clark and Whitman, and what's been a very entertaining game. River Otters trying to snap a 15-game losing streak to 3-1 Whitman with this conference record coming in. Guidry attacks from the top. Kayla to the rack and traveled late in that sequence. Turns it over. Lewis and Clark, 4 of 16 in the third, hit 2 of 9 from 3, including Isabella Bernard's bucket. Still on the floor to start the fourth quarter. Morgan, Montgomery, Andrade, Peters, and Baker on the floor in the dark gray for Whitman. Trying to avoid back-to-back losses. Montgomery off the screen, right side, throws to the top. Baker looks inside. Andrade battling with Fredrickson. Baseline officials called Freddie for a hold, and that's 3 on Lauren. First team foul on the River Otters in the period. 9:32 left in the fourth. Lewis and Clark 48, Whitman 46. Pass right side, Baker. It's man-up defense as it's been the entire game for Lewis and Clark. Feed inside Montgomery to Morgan for 2. 48-48. Game is tied. 9:21 left in the period. Carnes, Jordan, Fredrickson, Guidry, and Bernard for Lewis and Clark. And Morgan, a bump foul just past the arc. Second personal, team first. Total of 27 fouls in this game. Guidry's out, Singleton's back in. Guidry playing for the first time since late December, missed all of Lewis and Clark's conference games so far. Carnes and Lewis and Clark in orange going left to right offensively. Fredrickson dribbles in, kicks left. Bernard, crossover, pull up, just hit the side of the backboard, miss it. Ball free in the middle, squirts back toward the restraining circle. Still loose far side. Carnes' second effort ties it up and gets Montgomery to jump on it too. Whitman has it with 8:57 left. Whitman hit 4 of 12 in the third, missed both three-point tries and 2 of 4 at the line. Blues just hitting 58% from the stripe total. Lewis and Clark has made 12 of 16. 48-48. 1 minute gone in the fourth. Montgomery to the right elbow, back to the top. Andrade for 3. Skids off right, no good rebound. Tip to Morgan on the baseline. Picked up the dribble, throws out to Baker. Long 2 near the right wing is good. First Whitman lead of more than 1. 50-48, 8:28 to play in the fourth. Carnes moves past the screen of Singleton, halfway down the lane. Back out top, Fredrickson for the lead. Off to the right, no good. Rebound chase, Singleton bats at it, gets it to Bernard, left wing. Lewis and Clark reloads. Jordan jabs on Morgan, goes left, stops, turns back out to Fredrickson. Andrade guards, 8 to shoot. Singleton uses the screen, out left. Jordan for 3, hit it. 51-50, Lewis and Clark back on top. 8th lead change And the first 2 in the fourth make 10 total for the game. 10 lead changes. Sidestep long 2. Montgomery airballs it. And Lewis and Clark has it back with 7:39 left in the fourth. Bernard. How many good plays did Isabella Bernard make in 4 minutes? Had 3 points, a block, and a rebound. Perez is back in with 3 fouls. Likely the reason Lewis and Clark dug a little deeper in the bench to bring Bernard in. Handoff exchange, Carnes from Singleton. Middle of the floor, backs out, top of the key, looks inside. Singleton trying to post up. Carnes now drives left, spins, and one motion back inside. There was no momentum loss on that take from Carnes. What a move from the sophomore. Lewis and Clark's lead is 3, 5 straight points, and a whistle. Offensive foul called against Whitman. No, they're not reporting it. I didn't see why there was a turnover there. Maybe stepped on the sideline. I'll have to look at the play-by-play. It's just a Whitman turnover. Either way, Lewis and Clark has it back. Fredrickson dribbles in from the left wing. Pull up. Dead center of the key, and 2 more free throws coming Freddie's way. That foul charge to Morgan. 3rd personal, team number 2. Kendrick is in. The turnover by Whitman was on a travel. So Baker is down on the bottom of the free throw lane, across from Andrade. Fredrickson hits the first free throw. You have Morgan and Montgomery closer to the foul line with Peters behind. Makes it a 5-point lead again. Lewis and Clark had an 11-point lead in the opening half. It feels like the second half, neither team has had a lead more than a handful, if that. Whitman, sidestep 3, Morgan left wing, too strong. Rebound weak side pulled down by Perez. Trying to scan through the third quarter play-by-play. Lewis and Clark was up by 5 with 7.5 to play in the third. Drive, Carnes attacks, it's a 7-point margin. Yeah, this is the second time that either team has led by more than 5 in the second half. 2:15 without points for Whitman. Drive right, and an attack by Montgomery on the floater. And Coach Frenz uses a 30-second timeout with 5:57 to go in quarter number 4. Lewis and Clark in the middle of a 9-2 run over the last 2.5 minutes, trying to snap a 15-game losing streak to the Whitman Blues. 57-52, Lewis and Clark on top on Pio Stream. (57-52), Lewis and Clark leading Whitman. 5:57 to go in the fourth quarter. River Otters trying to improve to 2-3 in conference play. Close games have not been the friends of Lewis and Clark this year. 6 losses this season in margins of 9 points or fewer. Left to right, orange jerseys, Carnes. That nice attack last time down. Gives it up to Kendrick. Perez exchange at the top. Fredrickson and Jordan, the 4th and 5th players on the floor. Toss right wing to Jordan! And a 3 on the pass from Perez. It's an 8-point lead, largest lead of the second half. 60-52, Lewis and Clark leading, 5.5 to play in the fourth. Whitman with the ball into Baker from the top. Nice feed from Peters and down the lane. Baker scores it. Back-to-back trips on separate trips to the Willamette Valley for Whitman from Eastern Washington. Played here against Linfield last Friday, went home, came back today, driving. Carnes to the rim, contested by Montgomery. Andrade has the rebound for Whitman. Light blue numbers on the dark gray unis. Front court, Montgomery attacks Carnes, stops past the right elbow, pull up, no good, rebound Fredrickson. A 10-point rebound game for the second leading rebounder in the conference. Kendrick, bounce pass, Carnes cutting in from the right side, missed the layup. And that's a whistle and the right foul call charged to Kendrick. Came racing in for the rebound, second foul on DJ, second team foul on Lewis and Clark, both teams with 2 in the period. Now Key Rusin checks in to give Carnes a little bit of a breather. Cates played 31 minutes, as has Jordan in this game. Rusin 4 minutes in the opening half, had a steal and a rebound. 4:33 to play, 60-54, Lewis and Clark. A 6-point lead, Whitman with the basketball, right to left, far sideline. Morgan attacks, tosses near the top. Jumper Andrade, swoops out, no good. Fight for the left side, pop free from Perez. Andrade has it back. Whitman, fresh 20. Montgomery into the post. Baker leans in on Fredrickson, drop step right, baseline. Shot doesn't go, and Fredrickson had the rebound, a whistle behind her. And the foul charged to Kendrick, who now has 3. Third team foul as well. Singleton's in, Kendrick is out. 3 double-figure scores for Lewis and Clark, led by 14 from Jordan. Had the big 3 a moment ago. Inbound goes left side. Andrade over Rusin, missed the shot. Fredrickson dribbles out the rebound. Brings it to front court for Lewis and Clark. Over to Perez, left side. Lewis and Clark leading 60-54 with 3:55 left in the fourth quarter. Start and stop, drive. Jordan almost lost it left baseline. Throws to Fredrickson, left elbow, bounce pass right side, and just a touch in front of Singleton turns it over. 12th giveaway for Lewis and Clark in the game. Whitman down 6. Blues haven't led by more than 2 in this game. Right now trailing by 6. Perez guards Peters. Back out to the right wing. Long 3 for Baker. Off to the right, no good. Fight for the rebound. Singleton has it. Pulls it away from Baker. Dribbles away from Baker. Here comes Lewis and Clark. Front court. Rusin challenges Montgomery. Out to the near side. Jordan. Top of the key. Fredrickson that popped loose. Gets it back between the circles. Midway point of the shot clock. Crossover. Right side. Tap free from Baker. Or rather Andrade. Out to Rusin. Into Singleton. Popped away from Baker. And now a steal. Montgomery. Leads a 2-on-1. Attacks left. And double dribbled. Carnes is back in after a brief rest. Rusin comes out. Now Baker is removed. Andrade with Morgan. Peters has had a nice game. 25 minutes played, 6 points, 4 assists. Montgomery makes 5 for Whitman. Lewis and Clark breaks pressure in the front court, leading 60-54. 2:45 left in the fourth. And Carnes is tripped up going right side. Andrade appeared to maybe stick out the leg for her first personal foul. No one for Whitman has more than 3 fouls. Likewise for Lewis and Clark. 2.5 left in the fourth. Inbound to Singleton. Back out to Jordan, near side corner. Lewis and Clark working toward the right side basket. Carnes back out to Jordan, right wing. Tosses to Fredrickson. Weave passes. Now Carnes right to left. Stops left block. 3 to shoot. Outside to Jordan, puts up a three. Right rim, no good. Morgan by herself for the weak side rebound ahead. Leith is back in the game, gives it up to Peters, offensive foul. Leith whistled for it on the far side, sent Perez to the ground, and Leith has 4 personal fouls. 4th team foul. On Whitman, 60-54. Lewis and Clark's lead is 6. 2:02 remaining in the 4th quarter. Right side basket, Lewis and Clark with the drive. Kick out to Carnes. Stops midway down the lane. Back out to Fredrickson. Jumper goes. 62-54. Lewis and Clark back to the largest second half lead. Montgomery, the top, Andrade for 3. That skids off, no good. Back front, dropped out. Lewis and Clark with a minute 24 remaining, lead 62-54 in the 4th. Shake, Jordan, out to the top, Perez. 12 to shoot, right side Fredrickson, keeps it in bounds. Morgan defending. Screen set from Perez, back to the right. Perez, foul. 1 minute to play. Perez heads to the foul line with 1 minute left. Whistled on Morgan, who now has 4, team 5th foul. Possession arrow favors Lewis and Clark should there be a tie-up. Perez to the foul line. First foul shots of the game. Coach Ferenz. Free throw for Perez's good friends, was talking to the official after that sequence. This game feels like it shifted because of that big three-pointer from Isabella Bernard in the 3rd. Granted, Whitman had the lead in the 4th in the first 90 seconds. Now with a minute left, Lewis and Clark is back up by 10, 64-54. Long pass, far side baseline. Back to the top, Leith shoots over Carnes for 3. Nicks to the front rim, no good. Fight for the rebound, weak side. And the official says it's Lewis and Clark basketball because the Whitman player was on this end line trying to fight for the basketball. So I don't believe that is a jump ball. Instead, Lewis and Clark has it and keeps the arrow. Carnes backcourt pressure, popped free, and Andrade ran over Jordan trying to get the basketball. The officials see those two go to the ground. And Andrade picks up a 2nd personal foul. So 41 seconds left, and Lewis and Clark has 2 free throws. The chance to take their largest lead of the game. Free throw no good from Jordan. Lewis and Clark has outscored Whitman 16-4 in the last 7:15. Free throw's good. It's tied for the largest lead of the game. Whitman has 2 timeouts remaining. And they use their final 30-second timeout to advance the basketball with 41 seconds remaining. Lewis and Clark 65, Whitman 54. The final 8 shots of this period, Lewis and Clark's hit 5 of them. Whitman has shot just 2 of 10. Montgomery and Baker, a couple of baskets apiece. Jordan's had 6, Carnes has had 4, as has Freddie. 4 in double figures for Lewis and Clark, 15 apiece from the first years. Perez and Jordan. Those two have went 9 of 17 from the floor and have hit a combined 6 3-pointers. Whitman basketball. Blues use a timeout to advance into the front court, near side inbound. 40 seconds to play, down 11, game's largest margin. Three from Peters. Hit just the bottom of the backboard. Fight for the rebound. Stays with Whitman underneath. Shot clock shows 21, and Morgan's headed back in. 2 of 6 in this game for Morgan, the leading scorer on the Whitman end. Left side inbound underneath. Bounce pass to Andrade. Hook shot. Right hand, no good. Morgan gets the rebound. Turn on baseline jumper. Doesn't go either. Carnes had the ball on the weak side, but whistled for a foul. That's the 4th foul on the River Otters, just the 3rd on Carnes. Morgan, right side, lost the ball, got over to Baker, and Baker's fouled. The bucket goes in on the right-hand side, so count it. Perez has 4. And 5 team fouls on each team. So right now, Perez, the first River Otters player with 4 fouls. Morgan and Leith have 4 on the Whitman side. Possession arrow favors Lewis and Clark, both teams with a timeout remaining. And Lewis and Clark uses its final one to advance the basketball into front court with 17 seconds remaining. It's a 30-second timeout for the River Otters, leading 65-57. Andrade fouled, the shot went in and narrows the gap down. Had been 11, right now it is 8. Fourth quarter, a 17-11 edge for Lewis and Clark, and we mentioned the mid-quarters were a little bit of the trouble for Whitman at Linfield last week. Tonight it's been the bookends. Lewis and Clark outscoring Whitman in the first and the fourth, 39-27. 17.5 left in the fourth. Lewis and Clark up 65-57. Inbound denied by Morgan. Thought that might have went off of Fredrickson's leg. The official points toward Lewis and Clark. Same kind of inbound. This time Fredrickson had it stripped out by Morgan. And will do it a 3rd time, throwing in from the near sideline. I think Lewis and Clark is going to use the same inbound play. Get it down to Singleton, back out to Perez. And fouled right away by Peters with 13.5 seconds left. Morgan, that was well defended on both inbounds, the first 2 against Fredrickson. But now Perez goes to the foul line. 2 of 2 so far. Popped out, no good. Stay tuned, rematch of last year's Northwest Conference men's basketball tournament final. Lewis and Clark and Whitman for the first time since the then Pioneers claimed the first conference title for Lewis and Clark since the early 2000s. Perez makes the second, 66-57, and Whitman uses its last timeout. It is a full, and we'll have it in front court with 13.6 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter as Lewis and Clark and Whitman go to the wire. Lewis and Clark extended the lead to 8 with 5:27 left in this period. And just kind of slowly had pulled away after taking the lead back 2 minutes earlier than that. One final in the Northwest Conference women's basketball scoreboard. George Fox beats Whitworth 58-44. Pacific leads at PLU 66-54 with just 10 seconds left in that one. And a final from Tacoma. Linfield goes on the road and beats previously undefeated Puget Sound 65-56. And Linfield stays undefeated in conference itself. 66-57, Whitman with the ball. Down by 9, inbound, front court, left side of half court. Morgan attacks the rim with Carnes draped on her. Carnes gets whistled for the foul. Morgan scores the bucket. And it's the second and one opportunity for the Blues in this final 30 seconds. Carnes has 4, so does Perez now. Leith to the scorer's table to check in, also with 4 fouls. replacing Baker. No timeouts either side. Possession arrow favors Lewis and Clark. One free throw for Morgan. 2 for 3 so far in the game. Missed it. Rebound. Fredrickson has it. Looking for help. Bounce pass back to Carnes. Carnes is fouled by Leith with 6 seconds remaining. Leith is out of the game with 5 fouls. And Carnes goes to the foul line, 3 of 4 in this game. 6 seconds remaining. Lewis and Clark up 66-59. Last game Lewis and Clark won over Whitman was January of 2017. Lewis and Clark won in Portland to go to 12-5 on the year. That was an Aisha Afalabi 27-point performance with Deja Nicholas going for 19. Free throws are good from Carnes, 68-59. Final 6 seconds, no timeouts, either team. Montgomery gets the ball, front court, pulls up, the shot doesn't go, and Lewis and Clark gets the win. Lewis and Clark victorious 68-59 over the Whitman Blues. A big win for the River Otters. They end the losing streak to the Whitman Blues and get a big victory in Portland tonight. All right, we're going to talk to Freddie.
You can hear your teammates. So excited. First win over Whitman since 2017. How's it feel?
That's insane. I can't believe it. We have put in so much hard work this week. I'm so proud of us coming in every game with belief no matter what. Even though we're underdogs in the conference, I think we fight our heart out.
Your freshman, Perez, had 16. Jordan had 15. Describe what they've meant to your team this year.
They have been everything. They've been everything for our culture. They've been everything for our fight and our compete. I mean, even Haley coming out and hitting a couple big threes, like momentum in the first quarter was huge for us. And I mean, LJ had a big three too on that last play, like third, fourth quarter. And I think they're just big momentum and consistent for us.
There was a moment, I got to ask you about it. Isabella Menard had to come in, hits a big three, and then goes down the floor and has a block. You're talking about maybe the most impactful 4 minutes of her Pios, now River Otters career.
I'm telling you, Bella has been working her butt off. At practice, she shows up every day, and she's hitting shots at practice. She's playing defense at practice. And for her to go in a big game situation and perform like she's been performing, I just want to say I'm really proud of her.
You should be. You should be proud of yourself. That was an awesome display out there. Go congratulate your team.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Lauren Fredrickson, how about that?
Lewis and Clark gets the win. We had to kind of impromptu put up the headset as our microphone, but you know what? Whatever works after a big win like that. And we had a chance to talk to Freddie as her team and Coach Doris get the win over Whitman. Final score, 68-59. We'll take a quick break, wrap things up in just a moment. Lewis and Clark victorious on Pio Stream.
Today's broadcast on Pio Stream is brought to you by the Lewis and Clark Alumni Marketplace. Go to lcpioneers.com/marketplace and search for products and services offered by Lewis and Clark alumni, including Gardenia Creative, which has chosen to spotlight a nonprofit friend of theirs, With Love. Based in Oregon, With Love has the mission to help foster families change the lives of children ages 0 to 6 by providing resources that nurture dignity, hope, and community. Many times, foster parents find out they are receiving a child mere hours before bringing them home. With Love provides safe, clean, quality clothing and supplies so foster parents can focus on loving their little one. You can help through financial gifts, volunteering, or donating items at withloveoregon.org. Thanks again to alumnus Laurel Carroll and Gardenia Creative for spotlighting this nonprofit partner.
Lewis and Clark gets the win 68-59. Big victory for the home team, Lewis and Clark. River Otters improving to 5-9 overall and 2-3 in conference play. But like I mentioned, no wins for Lewis and Clark since 2017. Snaps what I have from the website, 15-game losing streak between Lewis and Clark against this Whitman team. And it kind of shows you how important some of those early starts can be, as Lewis and Clark had a 22-16 lead after one, but an 11-point lead in that first quarter. You can see the final statistics. Lewis and Clark shoots 40% for the game. That's about 5 or 6% better than they do on average. Hold Whitman to just 39% shooting. That is right about the Blues average. In fact, mostly an average game from Whitman. They shoot about 8% worse from three-point range, but right at their average in terms of scoring. So Lewis and Clark able to get to about 68, 2+ their average. And I think another key component of this was how well Lewis and Clark took care of the basketball. Whitman forcing just 12 points off Lewis and Clark giveaways after coming in with a +2 turnover ratio. How about that for the Lewis and Clark River Otters? They get the win. Whitman falls to 8-6, 3-2 in conference play after 2 straight losses. And they're 4-4 on the road. The River Otters now 4-5 at home. And also, that was a one-score game, or a single-digit margin. That has been kind of the Achilles heel for Lewis and Clark all year long. They've lost 6 games by single digits, but not the case in this matchup, winning over Whitman. Big thanks to our crew, Nate Kerr and the Pio Stream operators. We appreciate it very much. I'm Ryan Goff, inviting you to stay tuned for the next game of this doubleheader. Men's basketball comes your way next, but the final of the women's hoops game, Lewis and Clark River Otters 68, Whitman Blues 59 on Pio Stream.